justice and peace and equality. Now the world they will see.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast. I'm here with Miss Trina Times. How you doing, Miss Trina?
I'm doing fine.
Great. Now, Miss Trina, you're a business owner.
Yes.
In the city of Stockbridge.
Yes.
You've been in the hair business, doing things, doing what you love.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, how you got started in the hair industry.
I am from Conley, Georgia. I was born in Daytona Beach, Florida, but I grew up in near Forest Park, Georgia, in Clayton County, and I went to school there. I have loved doing hair, and I wanted to pursue my passion for the hair industry and going into cosmetology school, but I was told that I couldn't do that. So I took other avenues to please my father, and it was just a burning desire in me every time I look at a hair magazine or see hair products. So I took a gamble, and I decided to go to hair school in 2007. And upon my graduation, in 2009, I started working at Smart Styles in different salons area, going to hair shows, studying the great artists because my craft was color and cuts. So anybody that did cuts, that I would master them. I would watch videos. I would stay up late to master my craft.
Now, you talked about earlier before we got started, you talked about being the black sheep of the family.
Yes.
You talked about your back a bit being against the wall.
Yes.
That type of thing.
Yes.
Tell us, how did that make you feel? What did that make you feel like, and where did all that start from? How did you get that label so that people just kind of like wrote you off?
I was the second of 5 girls, and my sister before me, I think because she passed, my parents were broken, and then upon me coming into the world, my mother said it was a lot of verbal abuse when she was pregnant with me, and domestic violence. She said from the time I was born, he said I wasn't his. And my sister before me, her name was Tammy Terrell, from Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell.
Oh, wow.
So my name is Trina Terrell.
Okay.
And my mom said that I really pretty much I didn't have anything to do with him. I was staying in the corner, standoffish. And she got pregnant with my sister before her 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I was the only one that was like 10 months apart. The rest of the girls are spaced out. So she said she never got to mother me.
Wow.
And so I was the littlest of the 5.
Okay.
And so I was picked on a lot.
Okay.
And my father was really harsh. So if he went to work, I had to go to work with him.
Right.
He worked on houses on the side. He had his hustle. And so he wanted boys. And just having eczema a lot, I was just teased a lot at school and at home. And as growing up, he had a master's degree, so his level of expectations was high.
Okay.
And I didn't meet his levels. You know, if you didn't make the grades, you got a beating and you were called dumb. The verbal abuse was real. Wow. And I was that one, you know. And all of us have struggled from it. But because I was the one that got the worst of it, the siblings turned on me, you know. And then into adulthood, a family member from my mother's side messed with my daughter. I mean, not my daughter, excuse me, my sister. And then a family member from my father's side messed with my last 3 sisters. And my father blamed me behind it, and it just continued the cycle into adulthood.
Wow.
And so our family was divided from that. My sister got on drugs.
Okay.
I have 2 sisters on drugs behind it. Your molestation is real.
And all this from molestation, drug abuse.
Well, the molestation, so we grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood.
Okay.
And he had a cousin that was a grown man.
Okay.
come and stay. I was about 18 at the time.
Wow.
And he touched my 17-year-old to my 8-year-old sister. Yes.
So you
And-
guys had to kind of like grow up.
And we had no brothers.
So this wasn't in the hood.
No, we didn't grow up in no hood. No, sir. We did not grow up in no hood, and we were not allowed to date. We were not, we couldn't go nowhere unless we go to work with him, or we had to get a job. But we were strict.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you think the domestic violence and the molestation came from a place of hurt from your sister passing?
My sister, my mother said that he was in the military, and he was just, once she got over there, after they married, he was a different person.
Wow.
And she just told me that when he got out, she was pregnant with me. But she said he never was the same after my sister passed, the one before me. She was 3 months when she passed.
Your
and
sister?
they
Your
was
older sister?
No, it was one before me. I have an older sister,
Okay.
but after her, there's a sister before me, and she passed at 3 months.
Okay.
So it would have been 6 girls. He would have had 6 girls.
So
He had 6 girls.
How did you get to a point where you said, because a lot of times when you're molested, you're beaten, things happen in the home, they deter you from being successful and chasing your dreams. And you're a dual entrepreneur.
Right.
Right. You do taxes.
Yes.
And you do hair.
Yes.
Tell us how you overcame that journey from saying, you know what, I'm not going to let my past define me.
It was always instilled in me, and I will give my father credit for that. His
Okay.
education was very important.
Okay.
And he bought us encyclopedias as early as I remember 3. He would make us read them. And so that strong foundation of education is important. Ain't nobody gonna give you shit.
Wow.
He did instill those things in us. And so I said, I'm gonna make it. And I remember I had my first child, and my father asked me, he said, what are you gonna do with yourself? Because I wanted to go in the military, but he didn't want me to go in there. He felt like women shouldn't be in the military.
Wow.
So I said, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. And I remember him laughing. Ain't nobody gonna ever let you come to your business. You ain't got the brains for that.
Wow.
You need to go and probably go back to nursing school.
Okay.
And it was not in me to be a nurse. It was in me to do hair. And he let me know, ain't no daughter of his finna be messing with no nappy heads.
Wow.
And so, and it was, the passion was so much in me, Dre, that if you came in my bedroom whenever I got extra money, and we didn't dip it, because we had to put our whole paycheck when we was in high school straight to the bank.
Okay.
But if I got extra tips and stuff,
Right.
I bought a hair product. I bought a hair book.
Wow.
And so he was so mad when he would come in my room and see all these hair products.
Okay.
And he would say, I'm telling you now, you ain't going. And I felt like, okay, I'm gonna listen. He knows best.
Right.
But Dre, I would be in jobs and just crying. Hated to go there.
Wow.
I felt empty inside. And I wanted to show my kids never give up.
Okay.
No matter what you facing,
Okay.
keep pushing.
Wow.
Just trust God. My mother had a strong faith belief.
Okay.
Her background is Mississippi, but my grandmother was heavy in the church.
Okay.
So she kept us in church.
Okay.
And even though we did not go to a black, we went to a white. We went every Sunday.
Y'all went every Sunday.
We didn't miss church.
Okay. Now-
And they were very nice to us. It was no racism. This was a very small white church, but it was very nice.
It was very nice.
Yes. it
Okay,
was.
so now in the South, it's kind of like Sunday is the most divided day of the week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you got black churches, you got white churches,
Yeah.
and I remember just talking to you when you were telling me about your family history. You know,
Yes.
you were telling about your family history.
Yes.
And when we met, you growing up in the capacity that you grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
How did that transition to like okay, we're at a white church,
Mm-hmm.
predominantly white neighborhood? Was that like a defiance from something of the past or something?
So we were in Atlanta. My father graduated at the time. It wasn't Clark. It was AU.
Okay.
He got his master's.
Okay.
In
Atlanta
biology.
University.
Yes, it was
Okay.
Atlanta University.
CAU.
So that's what led him up here. He had graduated from Bethune-Cookman.
Okay.
And he played football. So he came up here.
Okay.
And then we followed.
Okay.
And after he graduated, he bought a house in Clayton County.
Okay.
And it was all white. It was no black.
Oh, wow.
And so we went from being in a Atlanta High, elementary school for 2 years to an all-white school, and it was very different.
Wow.
The kids did tease. It was no other blacks in my classroom.
Okay.
It would be about 3 years later before blacks would start integrating into Conley. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and my neighborhood stayed black until about almost to my high school year.
Right.
I mean, white, excuse me.
Okay.
So that just became our world, and we wasn't, really allowed to go outside. It was girls, and he was a very strict father.
Okay.
So we had a very strict upbringing, and she believed whatever he said goes.
Wow.
Wasn't no, you didn't talk back. And when you're isolated, there's no other family around.
Uh-huh.
Like my mother was not from Georgia, and his family is from Florida.
Okay.
Not originally, but yeah, that's where he grew up. So he had controls,
Of what it was.
Yeah.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network. We're going to pay some bills and go to this commercial break. I'm here with Miss Trina Times, and we're going to stay tuned as we come back and we share her story on her journey and the things she's doing with her business as an entrepreneur. Y'all guys stay tuned.
At Eagles Landing Diabetes and Endocrinology, our business is your health. Dr. Ronald S. Watts and his staff are dedicated to the pillars of quality health, such as equity, effectiveness, efficiency, integration, safety, timeliness, and people-centeredness. Eagles Landing Diabetes and Endocrinology specializes in the evaluation and treatment of diabetes and endocrine disorders. Thyroid, neck, and parathyroid gland ultrasound examinations and vascular examination for peripheral artery disease are just some of the services that Dr. Ronald S. Watts and his staff provide. Looking for treatment? We are currently accepting new patients. Eagles Landing Diabetes and Endocrinology accepts all major insurance. Give us a call at 770-389-9494 or visit us at 550 Eagles Landing Parkway, Suite 110, Stockbridge, Georgia. Eagles Landing Diabetes and Endocrinology. Our business is your health. Visit us at eldiabetes.org.
There are no mistakes or regrets in this life, only the opportunity to learn and evolve. Leave your imprint on this earth. In that process, it's a responsibility and calling to aid others where possible. When you've been blessed, you should look to be a blessing. That can take the form of your time and resources. You only have one life to make a difference in others, so why not show up and be great? But not for the sake of yourself, but for a generation of onlookers who are looking to see what's possible. Being a State Farm good neighbor in the community is a privilege that I don't take for granted. My name is Sherry DeVos Denard, and my office is located in the industrial side of McDonough, Georgia. We service all of Georgia and neighboring states Alabama and South Carolina. You can reach us today for all of your auto, home, life, and small business needs at 678-782-3005 or online at sddinsurance.com and on all social media platforms. We look forward to earning your business.
Back with Miss Trina Times. Miss Trina Times, you're a business owner, and you talked to me about your past, growing up in a very strict home, being almost not pushed to your destiny or to your dreams.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That what God put in your heart to do.
Right.
Okay.
With the gifts he gave me.
Right.
Yes.
Now, tell us about your hair business and what you did to get in the hair business. Like, what are some of the things that you do?
I do cuts, but I specialize in colors and cuts.
Okay.
I do blowouts. I call them silky blowouts because the blow dryer is really what straightens it. Like,
Okay.
it needs to be straight before you hit them flat irons with it.
Okay.
And then I do pixie cuts. I specialize in cuts, so I do pixies.
Right.
The short cuts, any kind of cut you want. So I call them designers, you
Right.
know. But yes, the ladies that love the little rock 'em, whether they natural or relaxed.
Okay.
So those are my, that's Those are my things.
Those are your things.
Yes.
Now now when I first met you, you had this color. Was it color essence?
Yes, color
All right.
essence.
So
spread.
you do all the red hair, the green hair,
Yes.
the purple hair.
Yes.
What did
Pastel.
What's that all about? Tell us how you got into that.
So color was my thing. I always loved color. I always loved hair color. So I knew when I got into hair school, I was going to try to understand the hair color. One of the things I would hear prior to ever going to hair school was color breaks our hair.
Wow.
So I knew if I got into this, I needed to master why does it break our hair.
Okay.
When I knew that Caucasians growing up around them always got hair color and they never talked about it broke our hair.
Wow.
And I always wanted to break down the science behind the chemicals.
Okay.
Being a kind of a nerdy bookworm kid, I always kind of was in my room reading whatever I could get my hand on.
Okay.
So when I went to hair school, I said, I'm going to master this destiny of mine. I'm going to master hair color.
Okay.
I'm going to break it down, understand the levels, the texture of hair, the porosity of your hair. I'm going to understand the overall condition of your hair.
Okay.
And let you know what you can get. I do ranges, and I call them caramel, ginger, autumn. You know, we can go all the way to any kind of blondes.
Right.
But the thing is, I stress integrity.
Okay.
So when you come and you're talking about a color such as blonde, that's higher up on the scale.
Right.
So that requires a lot more maintenance than a color that you would do with like a brown.
Okay.
Because you're not lifting up as much. So you're taking some strength. So it has to be replaced what was taken out.
Wow.
Your densified bonds become broken.
Okay.
In your hair strands.
Okay.
And depending on your texture, it's fine, medium, and coarse. You know, and fine is the weakest hair.
Okay.
Coarse and medium is the stronger. And we look at your density. Your density is the inches per square. You know, so that breaks down the components, letting me know. I check your porosity, lets me know if you can develop, you know, if your hair is damaged. Porosity tells me a lot of things. Hair talks.
Okay.
Your scalp talks.
Okay.
You know, and so I talk to you. I tell you things that you should do, like don't drink no caffeine. It stimulates and make your scalp burn. If it's a chemical, drink water.
Okay.
You know, certain things that you should do before coming for a chemical service.
Right.
And I talk to you about the importance of coming for treatments.
Okay.
That things that you're not going to know. I know what to replace was taking out your hair. You know, this is what I mastered. This is what I went to school. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. That's means something. I went to school for this.
Absolutely. So you ain't just, you know, because a lot of times people just say, hey, I do hair. They jump on hair. And they can do hair. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I noticed, and you know, check me if I'm wrong about this, but one thing that I noticed is I'm like, how is African-American boys' hair growing longer than African-American girls?
Because boys leave their hair long.
Okay.
Okay, girls may put it up in ponytails, which will bring tension.
Okay.
We brush it. I know when we was growing up, my father was like, my mother's name is Maxine. You're going to burn them girls' hair out, you know.
Right.
We came up in an era where there wasn't really no education when it came to understanding our hair. Wow. So my mother was straightening our hair with the stove, you know, and with the curlers. But the heat is an element that can break your hair. It can dry your hair. It's a drying agent like alcohol. And so where's the moisture is less, you know, and your hair, so then it begins to break your strands.
Okay.
Whereas boys just leave their hair alone.
Okay.
You know, ain't nobody touching, ain't nobody pulling at it and all of that. So it grows, and your hair grows at least 1 inch a month.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it does. You're going to have new growth.
Wow.
But if you don't treat your hair, and when your hair is natural, it doesn't need as much moisture. But when you put chemicals in it, it has a drying agent. I don't care if you have color or you have a relaxer. That's a chemical.
Okay.
So it's taking the strength, certain things out of your hair.
Okay.
So your hair is now weaker. It's not what God gave you.
Wow.
So then it needs to be treated.
Okay.
You need to understand that your hair can be overly processed. It could be dry. It may need protein.
Okay.
And so that's where the license can come in to look at it. But when you leave your hair alone and treat it and deep condition it,
Right.
yes, it will grow. I mean, you will see growth.
Okay.
And that's, a lot of the wigs, it's not made, your hair is not made. It's like the ground. If you cover that grass, can it breathe?
Right.
So that's what's happening with the wig. The scalp can't breathe.
Oh, wow.
So then your follicles coming up your scalp. So all of these, what we're doing now, and it's so sad because I have a passion for this industry, but we're sitting up here pushing these babies with these wigs on.
Wow.
Where a lot of times we're depending on your hair texture. If you keep braids in your hair, this is weight.
Okay.
So you may have too much heavy hair added to the braids, which is tugging and pulling at it. So then you see the edges falling out. Ponytails, this can't breathe because something's sitting on it.
Right.
And so you'll see a bald spot. So we have a lot of alopecia, different forms of it now.
Okay.
That we never seen before in the industry.
Wow.
And nobody's talking about it because we'll slap a wig on. I mean, it's at the beauty supply store. You can get them on Amazon. People sell them.
Right.
And these lace fronts, and we're not that. Grandmama wore wigs on Sunday. She came home and took that thing off.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Now it became a fad almost, like the whole wig thing, like as if it was a fashion statement. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah, it did. If the kids started seeing celebrities. So and a lot of when you talk back, Michael Jackson, I can think of early memories after he got burned. He was wearing lace fronts.
Okay.
But lace fronts started really becoming popular in the 2000s when the weave era really took off, the sew-ins and all of that.
Okay.
So the sew-ins, what it really did was make people lazy when it came to hair care.
Okay.
The women started going to school and becoming career women. You couldn't wear dreads. You had to come in almost as European, with the European look. And we don't talk about that, but that had a lot of impact to do with why women, they couldn't come with color. If you're trying to get a good job, graduated in college, you had to come with this look that was almost like a white girl, just with sewing in. So you would see it on newscasters, and lighting, movie sets.
Right.
Our hair is like grows out like a tree. That's how our hair grows. It doesn't grow straight down like every other ethnicity on this earth. We are so unique that our hair grows out like a tree.
Man, you were very educated in this field, more than I thought.
Yes.
When it comes to, you talked about our hair growing out like a tree.
Yes.
Give us some symbolic behind that. I know we supposed to be going to a commercial break, but I want to hit that before we go to the commercial. But tell them.
Yeah. So God, this is when I say this is God, because our hair grows like the roots. It comes out like a tree. It stands out. It stands up. No other race hair stands up. It falls down. It's straight. Even if you're naturally curly and you're Caucasian, you're Puerto Rican, it still falls down. If you're Asian, it falls down. And Asian hair is the hardest to color because they're down at number 1 or 2, mostly 1. That's the darkest hair color. We're next.
Wow.
Yes.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network. Miss Trina Times.
Yes.
Color, essence of color of essence. All that, man. You guys stay tuned, man. We're going to go to a commercial break, wrap this up, man. Part 3 with Miss Trina Times here on Game Changers Media Network, Game Changers Magazine, Voices of the Village podcast. Stay tuned.
At ViStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. That's our focus. ViStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better.
Big Chick King Stockbridge is now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Start your morning off with a selection of biscuits and gravy, grits and eggs, to mouth-watering pancakes with bacon or sausage. It's your choice. Come dine in with us, take it to go carry out, or order online. Big Chick King is dedicated to serving our neighbors, family, and friends with our all-new Southern-style menu and the best fried chicken in South Atlanta Metro. Enjoy that good chicken with home-style cooked macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes and corn, vegetables, and green beans. Located at 1334 Highway 138 East in Stockbridge, Georgia, next to the Shell Plaza. We're open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sunday through Saturday. For more information, visit BigChickKing.com. The best fried chicken, hot and fresh out of the kitchen.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast. I'm here with Miss Trina Times, and she's took us all the way around the world from her journey to get, to some of the setbacks that she had to get to where she is today, and being an expert in her field in hair treatment, especially black hair treatment, because a lot of times our black women are sometimes miseducated.
Exactly.
When it comes to when it comes to hair care.
And I think for me, the biggest thing is my mother having a hard time finding stylists to do our hair, because we had very fine hair. With some people might say, what you mix with? But, it's black. Okay. And also, I had eczema very bad. So when you have psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, seborrhea, these are skin conditions. It affects the skin, because skin is the biggest organ in your body.
Correct.
So your scalp is your skin.
Oh, wow.
So if you have skin conditions, it's a lot of things that will stop your hair growth as well.
Okay.
So for me, having skin conditions such as eczema, it played a part in my hair, being able to, I never suffered hair loss, except when I was young from the eczema. But as I grew up, I wanted to understand what would be healthy and what was not. I will say that my aunt had her own salon in Mississippi. So I admired her. I admired her because she was a single mother who went after her dreams and became a cosmetologist. And she was so great at it. And so a lot of times I think of her. I would kiss her picture in the morning when I would go to school to push myself, because it was days that, you going through life. Life is life.
Life is life.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm doing this for you, Aunt Audrey, because I saw you do it. I saw you push past and make it happen.
Wow.
And so I know it could be done. You just don't give up.
Now, you also have a product line.
Yes, I do.
Is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about the product line that you have, and tell us how that came about.
Yes. I decided that I wanted to have 5 products starting. And I wanted to give the clients that I cater to most something to be able to take home with them, to teach them about regimen for their hair when they leave the salon. So I have a therapeutic shampoo that focuses on itchy scalp. It's basically for the scalp. You're applying it not really to the hair, but more for the scalp. And then I have a conditioning moisturizing shampoo that's just to moisturize your hair.
Wow.
And then I have a growth oil. And it's just something that you apply like twice a week, just to keep your hair, clean but being able to grow. Yes, so you don't have it too much, because the thing in the natural community that I'm seeing most is we have a lot of buildup on the hair when they're coming in to get it shampooed or anything, so they're not technically feeling like, okay, I don't have a chemical, so I can just keep it natural, so I don't have to wash it as much. And you're supposed to at least shampoo it and wash it. Shampoo it at least every 2 weeks. And so then I also came with a foam. A foam can be used whether you are natural or relaxed. You can wrap your hair in the foam wrap, or you can rod set it or twist it if you're at home and your hair is natural. So it's doable with both. And so I invested in those 5 products just so that my clients that I mostly cater to would have something to be able to take home.
Wow.
At least one of the products
Okay.
that would cater to them.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you taking the business, not only are you educated in treating the hair,
Yes.
which makes you the expert.
Yes.
You're doing the hair,
Yes.
which makes you, you know.
Yes, I'm behind the chair.
You behind the chair,
Yes.
and you have the products to support it.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell us what inspired the products.
I've always wanted my hairline, and so I believe in what you want. Make a vision, write it down.
Okay.
And I was like, it's gonna happen.
Wow.
So this is my first test baby.
Okay.
And I said, I'm gonna invest in it. I'm gonna believe in me.
Okay.
And so I took a risk and gamble, but it's paying off.
Okay.
And so I did this product line, and now it's almost like when you're building your first car. You know what works and what don't work.
Right.
And you know what to do and what to do over.
Correct.
So when I go back, I know what I want.
You know what you want.
I know exactly more what I want and what's best.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you have that formula figured out. Now, how can people get your hair products? How can you be booked? Where can they find you at online right now?
Right now, I'm currently at styleseat.com/Trina Times.
Okay.
Or you can call at 404-862-2951.
Awesome.
To make an appointment.
To make an appointment.
Yes.
And do you like teach classes on like hair treatment and things
No,
of that nature?
what I'm currently getting ready to do is going to be for cosmetologists. Unfortunately, it's going to be for cosmetologists who want to master color.
Okay.
Because there's a shortage of colorists.
Okay.
And the biggest problem I have when I talk to African Americans, I want color, but I've been burned by a stylist.
Oh, wow.
And the problem is, when we're in hair school, it hasn't changed.
Okay.
Not too much.
Okay.
And so you're studied under European hair.
Okay.
Because they're the educators, you know,
Right.
in terms of who wrote the book.
Okay.
Every hair school gonna have My Lady. I don't care what you go, Paul Mitchell. Everybody got the same book.
Okay.
So they got an African American sit. You know, just like when you learn Black history.
Correct.
You gonna get what? Maybe a month.
Okay.
But you're not really working.
Okay.
Pretty much, you know, when it comes to color,
Right.
you're not working too much with blacks because they're scared to come. They're like, especially Black women, I got a phobia.
Right.
I heard if I get a blonde, it's got to be short, it got to be pixie.
Okay.
You know, and we can do highlights, we can do baby lights, we can
Wow.
play with it. We don't have to do your whole head.
Okay.
We can start at a lower level of the blondes, like a level 6. And when I mean level 6, we're talking like a caramel copper.
Okay.
You know, you don't necessarily have to go up high. And I have a special formula. So a lot of times lighteners and bleach are the same.
Okay.
I don't necessarily go to lighteners because I understand our hair.
Gotcha.
I understand the game of our hair.
You want to
So,
understand it. You understand the politics behind
yeah,
the hair.
behind the hair.
And everything.
Yes.
All right. And the thing about it is, what tip would you give if you had to give 3 tips to someone looking to choose the type of journey that you're going into and becoming a colorist? What are the first 3 steps you would tell them to take?
First and foremost, I would tell you to study when it comes to hair color, understanding the hair.
Okay.
Understanding what is color.
Okay.
You know, breaking down the 3 primary colors.
Okay.
You know, getting with a good colorist.
Okay.
Taking classes. Classes are so important. If you can't get classes, get color videos.
Okay.
Study that book over and over.
Okay.
Anytime someone is having a color class, take it.
Take it.
Yes, and don't wait for someone to break it down to you. You go get that book.
Oh, wow.
You go take that study.
Yeah.
You get one-on-one by yourself.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
and it's gonna talk to you. It's
Oh,
gonna
wow.
tell you. I also will tell anyone, get mannequins. They can't talk back, and if they mess up, guess what?
Okay.
You got another section,
Right.
but you mastered it.
Okay.
So I worked on so many mannequins. As you see, all of those mannequins are mannequins that I brought to life.
Oh, wow.
All of
wow.
those are my cuts and colors
Wow.
that I brought.
Wow. Queen of
Yes.
color essence.
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Now, going into, you got a few holiday specials coming up.
Yes.
Because holidays are coming up. You're going to be doing hair, you know, here in the South Atlanta area. Tell us some of the fashionable styles that's out there during the holiday season that some of these women can, tap into and they can, really jiggy it up for the holiday season.
Okay, so the number one thing I see is for colorists and color general to me that I see in the holiday season is they want to get that auburn, that fall colors.
Okay.
And they want to get those blowouts.
Okay.
Those blowouts, that flowy hair.
Okay.
And so those are the specials even that I run. So I run fall color specials.
Okay.
So those are the number one. A lot of people want to change.
Right.
They're getting ready for a new year coming in. So they like cuts. Coming in want a fresh cut. They're tired.
Okay.
They want to come into something new because the new year is coming in.
Oh, wow.
They're getting ready.
Wow.
So I see a lot of people want, I want this cut. I seen this cut.
Right.
Can you do it? Yes.
Okay.
Give it to me.
Man. Let's get it.
I'll make it my own. And I look at your face type.
Okay.
Because I'll be real with you.
Okay.
I'm looking at your face type. I'm looking at your texture. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Because everything you see, I can't promise you because it may not fit you.
Right.
So I have to be honest with you.
Okay.
I care more about my clients than the money.
I totally understand. And one thing before we wrap this up, the one thing that I appreciated the most during this interview on Voices of the Village, it is the simple fact of educating, our African American girls.
Yes. Yes.
If nothing was learned today, I want to make sure that we educate our African American girls and women on the importance of taking care of their hair, making sure that they're taking the right steps, because you don't want to see clumps of hair just falling out in the tub and in the sink and things like that. So we want to make sure that hair stays healthy. How can we keep that going where the hair stays healthy?
A lot of I will say I'm excited to see that a lot of the high schoolers that I've done, girls, are going natural.
Okay.
So I'm very excited about that.
Okay.
I am very excited for the trim because I was never a fan, even before before the natural movement. I've been natural before the natural movement.
Okay.
And so I was never a fan because I understood my texture. I always understood that it was not for a relaxer, right?
Right.
So I understood that the girls now that are natural, that I knew that once you go and put a chemical on a child's hair, it's changed forever.
Okay.
It doesn't come back the same.
Okay.
It doesn't come back the same.
It doesn't come back the same.
That doesn't come back the same.
Wow.
So I was so happy to see that because I do not do chemicals on children. They have to be 18 and up.
Okay.
And I'll tell parents that.
Okay.
I won't participate in that.
Wow.
I used to see, and it used to hurt me, women will literally edge their baby's kitchen, talking about their kitchen, they're 2 and 3. Girls.
Yeah.
And you're burning their scalp.
And I've seen it at times.
Yes.
I'm like, why is her hair like that? And I've seen it.
Right.
And now that explains
that. And it all goes back though to slavery. We can't colorism. I don't want a nappy head. You dark skin. We have to talk about it.
Okay.
But that has a lot to do with it. So as soon as that baby born and hair starts growing and changes textures, by the time they're a year old, and it ain't the way it was, we're ready to slap some relax on it. And these are babies.
Wow.
We know now that it's causing breast cancer. It's related to fibroids. There's huge lawsuits now. We know that women are not able to have kids behind it. They have PCOS. It's linked to a lot of stuff. I also learned that most African American women who had relaxers used to have a black ring around their brain when they was at the morgue. So the chemicals that are in relaxers are the same as in Drano. I want you to understand that. So you're putting something that's a pH scale, we're putting something that's almost a 9 on a baby. And they would market like the Just for Me's and all of that. All of this was culturally marketed almost like hip hop, for the youth to destroy themselves. And so now there are multiple lawsuits, but what the girls that are natural do is they put a lot of product buildup and it blocks the scalp because the scalp can't handle all of that product. Wow. I see a lot of flaking. They're also throwing wigs on because they're natural, so I don't have to take care of my hair as much. So we getting into a lazy era. Just because it's natural, it still needs, the scalp needs to be clean. It needs to be shampooed every 2 weeks. It needs to be conditioned. And this new growth is good hair. The hair that we're talking about, mid-shaft to ends, because that's old hair.
Right.
That's like, so it needs to be treated. So when you're watering a plant, you're trying to hit the roots, but you're hitting the roots to keep it moisture, but you're also hitting that plant.
Wow. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, Miss Trina Times. I want to thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you.
You guys stay tuned, man. It's tune in every week, man. We dropping episode after episode for politicians to business owners to community activists, all of that, man. And we just went to school today.
Yes.
About black hair.
Black hair.
Thank you for tuning in. Voices of the Village podcast.
And equality. Now the world they will see. That's why